This is certificate, a little hard. There you go. Certification of closed session. Pursuant to subsection 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, each member of the Board of Supervisors upon roll call certifies that to the best of their knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the Board of Supervisors. Any member of the Board of Supervisors who believes that there was a departure from the requirements shall state so prior to the vote, indicating the substance of the departure that in his or her judgment has taken place. Are there any supervisors who believe a departure has taken place? Since there is none, if you agree that the matters heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting were pursuant only to the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, please signify by saying yea or yes. Tim Lovelace.
Yes.
Luann Wallace.
Yes.
Carl Ray.
Yes.
Steve Breeding.
Yes.
David Eaton.
Yes.
Horace Christian.
Yes.
Rebecca Dye. Ma'am, you have approval to return regular session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we amend the agenda. If you would read those off, please.
And Madam Chairman, I think everybody's present in this room. I told you to do a roll call vote earlier, assuming there may be some people out in the hall. But since everybody's here and can see the vote, I don't think you have to do a roll call vote. If there were more people that do show up, we would have to switch back to that. But for time's sake, I think you can vote normally.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I assume that we've all had time to look at this, and the only thing I saw on it, we need to change the date of the signature to today's date. But I will make a motion that the board approves this resolution.
I'll second it.
However, you can vote normal just because everybody's in this room, so everyone can see. So, however you want to do that.
Aye.
No.
No. Abstain. So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Second.
Aye.
All right, the first person we have is Carla Glass. If you'll state your name and your address, please. And the subject for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Carla Glass, 428 Claremont Circle, Castlewood. State the business, just Madam Chair and Board, I want you to know I'm coming to you out of love tonight. It's a love that runs really deep for this county. I've had opportunity after opportunity to leave this county, but I love it. If you look at our nation, you can easily see division and more energy spent working against each other than progressing our nation. And unfortunately, I feel the same about this board. There are alliances, and there's a divide that is so apparent, and it's so disappointing. You're better than this. We need you to be better than this. Russell County deserves better than this. I often teach leadership forums, and one of my favorite books is The Ideal Team Player. I consider this group a team. The three characteristics to make someone an ideal team player, according to that book, is being hungry, humble, and people smart. Some of you are filling a seat and need to have a hunger and a passion for advancing this county. Some of you are super hungry, but you lack humility. And you come across as absolutely demeaning and not representative of the great people of this county. Some of you lack people smarts, and you're being manipulated and don't even see it. I implore this board to start with yourselves. Examine yourselves. I sent a link to Lonzo of a self-assessment you can take. I've got copies printed out here if you want one. Start with yourself. Figure out how to work on a plan that advances the county as a whole. I am cheering for the upper end of this county to be successful. I'm cheering for the lower end of this county to be successful. And I'm cheering for everything in between. I'm cheering for this board to be successful. I don't want you to fail. You're our leaders. We aren't each other's competition. The upper end don't compete with the lower end. We're each other's advocates. Don't wait until the next election so that you can have somebody that you can work with. Don't hope for that. Don't be a publican that can only love and work with those that are like them. Be better. Figure out how to work together. End this divide. End these alliances that are running rampant in this board. I can tell you how people are going to vote before you even vote. That's sad. It is sad. United we will stand, but divided this county will surely fall. You are the leaders. You get to decide which we do. That's all.
All right, our next person is Sean Vance.
After the last meeting, I have talked to Jess Powers out here in the parking lot.
I do believe he's on the emergency management team, and he said that he was having problems getting his job done efficiently due to the vice Orson Ray being overseeing him. Now, I wish he was here tonight because I ain't trying to throw him underneath the bus, but it makes me concerned that our money's not being handled correctly. He says he has the certifications, he has the knowledge, and he's being led by people who do not. And if that's the way it is, then there's a problem with that. Now, and he also made a statement to me about how he was owed money for overtime that the county has already gotten, and he has not been paid for. Now, that's his words, not mine. But any way you look at it, I find there's a problem when somebody who's working for this county stand in the parking lot telling me for 20 minutes, and Jerry Connor, he was there with me, that he has problems with the people who oversee him, and that affects his job and his capability of doing his job right. So if that's the case, then we need to figure out why an employee of Russell County is complaining about you all. That's what I got to say. And what she said, I'm all for that.
Do we, Phil McCracken, if you'll give your address and concern. Mr. McCracken? Move on to the next one. Larry Hughes, if you'll state your name and your concern, please.
My name is Larry Hughes. I live at 30 Glade Hollow Drive in Lebanon, Virginia, Russell County. My concern is just wanting to address the First Amendment ordinance, but it's kind of a moot point now. Since you voted on it before we had a chance to mention it, so it doesn't do any good to talk about it. Just like this young lady said here, I am disappointed. Last meeting, I was upset. I'm not upset now, I'm just disappointed. I'm disgusted. I'd like to know, I mean, you don't have to answer me, but I'd like to know what's your reason why you don't want to support the First Amendment, why you don't want to support the people that has a right to voice their opinions. That's what the First Amendment is about. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, and yet we got 4 of you, or, voted no, 1 was abstained, and 2 is for it. That's very confusing. As a citizen, as a loving citizen of this county, my entire life, except for 4 years when I was moved away, I've been here, I'm 70 years old, I've been here for 66 years. As this young lady said, I'm disappointed. I am disgusted. I can't believe this county has drifted so far apart that you cannot support. The people say, I know the resolution maybe has no teeth to it at all, but it doesn't have, but so what? You would tell the county, we got your back. You've elected us. We will protect you to the best of our ability, even though maybe you can't. But it will make us feel better that you did. But you'll sit here and vote no. And last time you said that's what your citizens told you. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case. I don't know why you voted no. I guess my 3 minutes is about up, but all I'm going to tell you is be ashamed of yourself. This young lady said, take an evaluation. See where you stand. See if you are representing your people. I don't think you are. Thank you.
Next, we have Ms. Jennifer Tremblay. Address and concern.
Good evening, guys. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I think y'all are doing a great job. I'm here tonight to speak about the resolution in a different aspect. I agree with these guys to one aspect, but we're all standing here. Our First Amendment rights are being heard as we speak. That's what it's all about. I've been in the healthcare. I've experienced the COVID firsthand, and we've just spent thousands of dollars in CARES Act money to get prepared, to buy the proper PPE, the things we needed. And as far as this goes, you're right, it don't have teeth. And so what's the point of that? To loosen restrictions, to make a few feel like they have a looser restriction. My mother was deathly ill at the 1st of December, about lost her. They called 19 hospitals in 5 different states, and she couldn't get an ICU bed anywhere because there were so many COVID patients. Someone had to die to get her a bed, and now she has bone cancer. And if I carry COVID home to her, I could kill her. We're just now on the cusp of getting our vaccines. We're almost there. We just need a little more push, a little more time, and we can get through this. And as far as small businesses, I have one. I know the suffering that goes on and that. But also my employees are standing there with people coming in without masks. They're scared too. So it's time that we just push through this and get through it together. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. Each and every one of you have helped, and I'm coming as a citizen today. But I just want you to know that there are people out there, elderly, that need ours to be together and need us not to carry COVID in home to them. Thanks.
All right, next person is Kelly Delp.
I was going to say that I live in a desk at 248 West Main Street. I gave each and every board member a copy of our quarterly report with a picture of our new hands-free lockers so people can, this is going to be helpful throughout for people. We live in a 24/7 world. If you're working a schedule and the library is not meeting your need, you can pick something up from the locker at your convenience 24/7. You can read the report and see, but I also gave everyone a copy of a flyer, and I'm dismayed that I didn't bring quite enough to at least hold one up to you guys. The library has a traveling exhibit. It's just basically banners with information, but we're going to have 2 programs associated with it, and the room is big enough that if you want to come look at it, you can be 6 feet from somebody. And the name of it is Teetotalers and Moonshiners, Prohibition in Virginia. So it's really fascinating, and one of the programs, they're both going to be virtual, is stories from the moonshine trade here in Southwest Virginia from Kathy Shearer, and the other one is going to be music from that era. And there's actually a little bit of music available. If you come in, there's an iPad on a stand, so it's a little interactive. And I hope you will take a look at that. We will also be doing a sort of virtual tour of me or somebody else walking through the exhibit. So even if you can't make it, you can kind of catch a glimpse of it. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else? This is all that's on this current list. Does anyone else want to speak?
Rebecca, yes,
Yes,
My name
please.
is, William Ralph Keene. I moved to this county 5 years ago. I live at 64 Ratcliffe Lane, Cedar Bluff, Virginia. I've lived in Northern Virginia. I was born and raised here in Richlands. Moved to Northern Virginia in 1963. I recently moved back to this area. For the 6 years I've been here, the county supervisors, I've never met any of you. I've worked with a bunch in Fairfax County. But the mail situation here in this county is atrocious. I've talked to Ms. Dye in regards to the water. A young gentleman came to cut my water off the 6th day of January. I asked him why. He said I hadn't paid him a bill. I showed him the check. I sent the check in on the 20th day of December. 6th day of January, they came to cut my water off. Why? The check, I called the bank. The bank said it had not went through. My wife called on the 7th day. They had not received it. The 8th day, they had not received it. They charged me a $30 late fee. I got my bill this month. They charged me a $35 reconnection fee. Why? You didn't disconnect it. The young lady told me, she said that they issued a work order. That's why. I've talked to Ms. Dye about it. They don't want to give a credit to it. I've talked to Morgan Griffith's office. I know a couple congressmen, senators in Northern Virginia I live beside of. They said it's atrocious. You need to get a handle on it. That's all I'm going to address. Is it because I'm new here in this area? My relatives started in this area. They originally owned the Land Stewart Cattle Company before they bought it. I have a first cousin as attorney, is one of the DAs here. And I think y'all need to look into this situation and address it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Any other comments? All right, seeing none, we'll close citizens' comment period. Constitutional officers. Seeing none, all right, we'll move on to the county attorney reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first thing that I have for the board's approval tonight is the interim agreement regarding the courthouse. What this agreement does is memorializes our agreement with J.A. Street and also the architect to continue in the conceptual phase of developing the courthouse design. I have reviewed this document, and so has Curtis, the project consultant on this. And we made a couple of changes, and we are good with the agreement in its final form and are asking for the board's approval tonight.
So at this time, we will take a motion to accept this interim agreement.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, we approve this agreement.
All right, thank you, Steve. Do we have a
Second.
Second, Lou. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right,
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next item I have is an agreement with the Board of Supervisors and the Russell County PSA that was being required by rural development. As a part of the consolidation, the debt was restructured, and because of that restructurement, rural development does not accept moral obligations that the county usually does in regarding the bonds, and so they require a separate agreement that basically says that the board will continue to do what the board has been doing in the past and appropriate the amount of debt, the debt payment to the PSA each year, with the exception of the 3 years that are going to be different. And this agreement has been approved by rural development and has been approved by the PSA, and I'm asking for the Board of Supervisors to approve that agreement tonight.
So moved.
thank you, David. Do we have a second?
Second.
Steve, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right,
The next matter I have for the board's consideration, Madam Chair, I bring to the board with a very heavy heart. It's a resolution celebrating the life of Ben Chafin. I drafted this resolution. I started with the resolution that the General Assembly passed in his honor, and put a few more details about his service to Russell County. I know I can say unequivocally that of all the jobs Ben had, he really enjoyed being legal counsel for the agencies of Russell County and being part of the progress over the years of Russell County. Celebrating the life of the Honorable Augustus Benton Chafin, Jr., whereas the Honorable Augustus Benton Chafin, Jr., a passionate advocate for Southwest Virginia and an accomplished attorney and state legislator who earned bipartisan admiration for his commitment to the betterment of the Commonwealth as a whole, passed away on January 1st, 2021. And whereas a proud native of Russell County, Augustus Benton Ben Chafin, Jr., grew up on his family's farm and learned the value of hard work and responsibility at a young age. He worked at a local meat packing plant as a teenager, and he returned home most weekends while attending college to help on the farm. And whereas a first-generation college student in his family, Ben Chafin received a bachelor's degree from East Tennessee State University and a law degree from the University of Richmond. And whereas Ben Chafin established what is now Chafin Law Firm, P.C., in the 1980s and practiced law throughout Southwest Virginia for more than 30 years, in addition to his work as an attorney, he served on the board of the First Bank and Trust Company and held close to his roots in agriculture as the owner and operator of a beef cattle farm. And whereas Ben Chafin began his public service to the citizens of Russell County in 1988, when he began representing the Russell County Department of Social Services and represented the agency for almost 30 years. And whereas Ben Chafin continued his public service to Russell County as legal counsel for the Industrial Development Authority, Russell County, Virginia, beginning in 1992 for 28 years, the Russell County School Board beginning in 2003 for 17 years, and the Russell County Public Service Authority beginning in 2008 for 12 years, and the Board of Supervisors, Russell County, Virginia, beginning in 2018. And whereas Ben Chafin, through his representation of these Russell County agencies, helped to elevate and provide invaluable services to the citizens of Russell County, And whereas desirous to be of further service to his community and the Commonwealth, Ben Chafin ran for and was elected to the House of Delegates in 2013, becoming the first Republican to represent the 4th District in more than 20 years. And whereas Ben Chafin was subsequently elected to the Senate of Virginia during a special election in 2014 and ably served the residents of Southwest Virginia in the 38th District until the time of his passing. And whereas Ben Chafin was a staunch proponent of public education, responsible economic growth, Second Amendment rights, and access to health care for all Virginians. And whereas Ben Chafin consistently supported job creation in his district, helping to establish the Invest Southwest Virginia Partnership to promote the coal fields as a region as a future site of renewable energy infrastructure and high technology business development. And whereas Ben Chafin served the residents of Russell County, Virginia, and the entire Commonwealth with the utmost dedication, integrity, and distinction. And whereas outside of his careers, Ben Chafin was an avid outdoorsman who relished every opportunity to appreciate Southwest Virginia's natural splendor. He volunteered his time and leadership as former president of the Russell County Rotary Club and enjoyed fellowship and worship with the congregation of Gracewood Community Church in Lebanon. And whereas Ben Chafin will be fondly remembered and greatly missed by his wife of 38 years, Laura, his children, Sophia, Audra, Augustus III, and their families, and numerous other family members, friends, and colleagues, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Russell County, Virginia, hereby note with great sadness the loss of the Honorable Augustus Benton Chafin, Jr., a respected statesman, attorney, and champion for Russell County, and be it resolved further that the clerk of the Board of Supervisors of Russell County, Virginia, prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to the family of Augustus Benton Chafin, Jr., as an expression of the board's respect for his memory.
So you need a motion to accept this, please.
I'll make
Yes.
that motion.
I'll second.
David and Steve, thank you all. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Katie?
Madam Chair, if it's okay at this time, I'd like to kind of expand. Katie knows a little bit about this, but I was in conversation with some of the family and Judge Moore, and they have, they want to let, when we really are going to miss Ben. I mean, Ben was a Russell County citizen and also represented Southwest Virginia well. And it's just such a shocker and such a great loss to all of us. Judge Moore has asked me to let the public know that they are working on something with the family's respect and taking the time that the family needs to maybe do a possible portrait or something to identify the life of Ben, and like we did for his sister there when we did that portrait and placed it in the courthouse. So I've kind of just, and I think with the board's permission, leave it up to Moore and the family, and then they can present back to us upon our verification to do that, if that's fine with you all. I told them I would present it tonight and let them know that I'm sure we'll have complete consensus and everybody will be in complete support, but I just want to let everybody know.
Thank you, board members. I sincerely appreciate that. The last item that I have for the board's consideration is due to all of the issues with COVID and just reevaluating our emergency management services department and how we can make it better. I have researched the issue, and by the code, either board members or the county administrator can be the director of emergency management services, which sort of oversees emergency management services in our county. I've spoken with the chief operating officer over our region, which makes up about 19 counties, and discussed the issue with him and gotten some feedback there. And I think my recommendation to the board moving forward to help provide some continuity, given that the county administrator in his office has been a large part of the response to the pandemic, that it would be most beneficial to the county to replace the board members as the director of emergency management services, and pursuant to the code, designate the county administrator as the director of Emergency Management Services. I know in our region, we are the minority that still follow that, and I think, again, it will help provide continuity and a more cohesive response, and I think it will be very beneficial to the county in many ways in the operations of that part of the county.
Do
Madam
you need a
Chair,
motion to? Go ahead, Carl.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to make the county administrator the Russell County Emergency Services Director and to place the Emergency Services Coordinator under the direct supervision of the county administrator, and to eliminate the two board supervisor positions of Emergency Services Director and Assistant Emergency Services Director. This will result in an overall savings of $2,700, and in 10 years it would be a savings of $27,000 in any mileage and expenses that might be charged to those services.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
No.
Okay. Blue and ours. All right, thank you. Next are the county administrators' reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First on the county administrator reports and requests, of course, is the Virginia Telecommunication Initiative, the VITA grant. As some of y'all have seen in the paper, this is funding that from the Department of Housing and Community Development that was in the paper concerning the $16 million that was given to the Cumberland Plateau Planning District to work with Point Broadband on expanding our internet within our region, which we greatly need. And of course, the pandemic showed just how weak our system was and how much we need within in these areas, not just to serve the kids, but serve the households and a lot of the jobs that have transitioned to either a house or either at home. This will give the flexibility to, with the county residents and children to be able to outreach. This grant, and of course, we have board members that sit on the Cumberland Plateau Planning District on this, and this is shared between of course, Russell County, Buchanan County, Tazewell County, and Dickinson County. But talking to them, they're working on theirs too, so this will fill the gaps in addition to all the other grants that are in place. But as far as the layout, the board will be giving that information out later. We're trying to fill out what is not being done and get it to the area as fast as can with Point Broadband. And the board members will be glad to report back to the citizens as soon as they get a plan in place. Of course, this is the announcement of Governor Northam for the 29.6 that was given, as you can see in the state, and as well as y'all can see, Cumberland Plateau ended up with 16 of the $29 million. So that, again, that's advocacy from the Board of Supervisors, these committees, the Cumberland Plateau, sitting in and advocating between the other districts for this initiative. So, of course, this is going to will be connecting more than 11,700 households. This is what the estimate is in businesses and institutions to serve broadband services, leveraging over $34 million. You got to remember, this is also a private-public investment. So what the Virginia puts into the pot, into the initiative grant, is also matched by the provider. So it's a total of $34 million going into the region, in addition to the other grants that are in place.
Lonzo, I'd like to make a comment on that, if that's okay.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
That the money that was awarded is only a portion, like you said, of the total commitment that I guess Point Broadband now has taken over. I think the total project, including all the CAF 2 areas, and was close to $45 million. So they were committed. They received federal funding to do the CAF 2 areas. Cumberland Plateau Planning District Company committed $1 million out of their revenues to add on to that, plus the money that was received under this VITA grant. But that's not to say that everybody is going to be hooked up. That's only the areas that they agreed to look at, which is a vast majority of all the 4 counties. In Russell County, I asked Joseph Puckett in particular when we could expect to have all his work done in Russell County, and he told me by the end of 2022 if this grant was awarded. But there will be additional money coming down, and I know Lou and I have a meeting with Puckett on the 18th to look at those areas that are not going to be covered under this big funding item. And I think it's our job now to find funding out of this additional COVID money that's going to be coming down to fill in these small areas that they think is not economically feasible for them to get into. So we need to be doing that, and that's what we need to be working on after we. The big deal on the 18th is to have them define the areas that they're going to serve with this big funding package that they have, and then we can look and try to fill in the gaps to some of these last mile areas. So that's kind of where we are right now on this.
Thank you, Mr. Breeden. And the point is, and that was one of the big comments that we got from the public during this pandemic. You know, internet for the children. Number one, Tim will tell you that. I think we went hot on buildings. Anything that we own, we have got routers and we've got them live. We've got them hot on the schools. I got them on the county buildings, libraries, anywhere that we can go live to give them access to. But you know, as Mr. Breeding has pointed out, and Ms. Wallace is on the committee too, so they will be making, you know, that strategic plan to be able to fill these gaps. And you know, we're working with the other counties in Cumberland Plateau. Next on the county administrator reports is of course, the VR Energy Conservation Revenue Bond. This is the Virginia SAVES program, and I know that y'all all need glasses to see this, so I want to increase it. This is what the Board of Supervisors had done with our energy performance agreements with the schools to build them up, to get them energy proficient on natural gas, water, windows, to get them under all the high schools, all the schools in some capacity or not. This was years ago, but the point on this grant in this project, it is reimbursed by the Fed, the Treasury, at 75%. So, of course, this year the school will be getting back $144,917.26. This is a subsidized grant. We did the loan, we installed equipment, and it's subsidized by the federal government. The total credit remaining on the grant, as everyone can see, is $838,000 out of the total. And this project is well paying for itself. Not only are we getting the 75% subsidy from the feds, we're also getting the energy performance savings from each one of the schools that we have reduced their energy at with our electricity, their water bills, and the installation. We have made these facilities more safer for the children, and also doing a cost savings. Next on the county administrator reports is this is VDOT. Let me take this one down. This is a reporting of the interagency coordination meeting on a joint permit application. This is a requirement for the Virginia Department of Transportation anytime they do a project. It's in the board members packet on Route 678, which is Mall Creek. This is work that's going to be done by the state forces. This project will do repairs to bridge number 6248 located on Route 678 along Mall Creek in Russell County. These repairs will consist of reconstruction of the wing walls on the downstream sides of the abutments. The existing wing walls have failed and will be removed from the channel. So again, it's on Mall Creek 678, and we'll also keep the citizens informed when this work starts to begin. Next on the county administrator reports is the state and local economic interest financial statements. I want to thank the board and all of our committees and authorities for submitting their economic interest and financial disclosures requirements. And next on the county administrator reports is, let me get through this, VDOT does an enormous environmental impact. I apologize. There we go. Thank you. Next on the county administrator reports is the Russell County fiscal year 21-22 budget meeting schedules. Of course, we're in that time of the year again. The Board of Supervisors over the past, this board setting especially, has been very conservative. Of course, you have not seen any real estate tax raises, or you've not seen any raises in personal property. Actually, the last tax increase that was $19.99, which is 1 cent higher than it is currently. So that since 1999, it was 64 cents on the 100 in 1999. It is 63 cents on the 100 as it currently today. So, of course, to point out is that they are very conservative in their approach. We live within our means, and what cost savings, as you have seen through grants and cost savings through energy performance or other cost-saving cuts, that's the way they have been able to deliver the services at the same level. So the next budget meeting with the budget committee, of course, is on February the 17th. This is, departments will be given their budget request, and by March the 12th, we'll be compiling all the department's expenditures. Of course, we will hold public hearings in May before it's approved, and everyone's welcome to attend. And we'll approve by law, by the Code of Virginia, we have to approve it by June the 30th. So we are looking at scheduling right now, and if no changes, the approval of the budget at the June regular meeting on June the 7th of 2021. Next is getting into the grants again. This is the Belfast Waterline Extension Project Phase 3 notice. If anyone doesn't know, we also have a $928,000 grant from DHCD with the Russell County Public Service Authority to do Phase 2. Now, this is to proceed with Phase 3. This is the notice by the Department of Housing and the Cumberland Plateau Planning District to begin our next grant application into Phase 3 into the Belfast area within Ms. Dye's area. So I need approval to proceed with the public notice on the Phase 3, the Belfast Waterline Extension Project Phase 3 notice. So I got to define that.
So move.
Right,
Second.
Thank you, David, Steve. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Okay, next on the county administrative reports is, of course, the Dane Sewer Line. This is another grant that we have went after. This one is for $2.5 million from the Department of Housing and Community Development that's in Ms. Wallace's area. This has been endorsed by, the ARC manager, program manager through the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. This is the Dane sewer plant that's currently within the Dane area. This project will take that one offline and move it into the town of St. Paul, which the county currently has a capacity agreement with. And not just from an environmental perspective, but from a grant perspective, this is 100% grant money. So, Ms. Wallace, do you want to elaborate on that?
I don't, but I've been waiting on this. I'm glad it's here.
Thank you, ma'am. I need a.
I will, just a minute, if you all will allow me. The little tiny community of Sun, Virginia, has their own little package plant. And our very own Caitlin is here, and she can attest to that. But anyway, they have tirelessly waited for some help because they have to expend that and keep that little plant going. And so this is going to be able to take that community and put it into the trunk line. So I'm just very proud of that and pleased with that. So thank you, board. I appreciate everybody that's helped me and worked on this.
Thank you, Ms. Watt. Thank you, Ms. Watts. As y'all can see up on the screen, I need a board approval for the application. And actually, it comes out with a total and all other, the funding is $2,799,750. I need approval for the application for the DHCD through the Department of Housing for the Daint Regional Sewer Line Extension Project.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Steve,
Steve.
second.
Second.
All right, thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And again, next one, of course, again, is a request from the Sheriff's Department. And this is to change out the 3 cars. This is with a lease agreement, and this was that is used in their investigations. And this also, as you can see, this will have a savings of $10,270.08 over the current lease. I need approval for these 3 vehicles.
So moved.
David, all right, do we have a second?
Second.
Carl? Did you? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator request is, of course, a resolution. This is for the approval of the secondary highway 6-year plan of 2019-20 through 2025-26 and the construction priority list. The Board of Supervisors approved the 6-year plan last month at the board. This is just the resolution endorsing what their approved plan was. There has been no changes to it, and again, this is just the resolution to confirm the January board's meeting on the secondary system construction program. Tim, do you have anything you want to elaborate?
No, I wish we could have added another project, but they wouldn't allow it. So at least nothing's coming off, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, because they cut around. And that was a good point to make, because if anyone has been in these meetings, the state of Virginia did cut their transportation budgets, and they did do a lot of trimming. Yes, they did, especially not only in the construction, but as well as in the maintenance. Next on the county administrator.
Do you need a motion
I'm
to
sorry.
approve?
Yes, thank
All right,
you.
do
I'm
we have a
moving fast.
motion to
Sorry about
approve
that.
this?
So moved.
Tim, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next is, on the county administrator request, is for the EMS job description changes. I need a approval for the job descriptions now that I'm the emergency management director. Make these changes to the current job description. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Carl? All right. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And last on the county administrator request is I need a motion to set the salary of the deputy register that was hired at $24,960. I need a motion for approval.
I'll make it.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Second, Steve. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, of course. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes county administrator reports and requests. Thank you.
Next on our agenda is any matters presented by the board. Tim, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
David?
Yes, ma'am. I just had a couple things. I talked to William, mail counts. He is a Russell County native, raised his family here in Russell County. He is in Buchanan County tonight because they have their meetings the same night we do. So he is now the new director of the Lebanon District, VDOT, and he is really excited about working with us here in Russell County and trying to help us with a lot of, of the needs and stuff that we have. And it's good to have somebody like that. I know JR took a position in the Bristol District, and now that Mel's here, and I'm sure Tim, have you had an opportunity to meet him? I've told him about you on the highway department, but it's good to have him. I think he'll do a great job. Second thing is, I need an update, Lonzo, actually from VDOT, about the Miller Creek Veterans Memorial Bridge that was passed and accepted, and I've not had an update on it yet because I've got some veterans there on Miller Creek and other areas in Laurel Branch and some different areas that's contacted me. They would like, with COVID, it's a little hard, but, you know, as far as I've got the approval from the landowner as far as the erection of the sign and being able to put that in. So if you could get me an update on that, I'd be so grateful.
Yes, sir.
Also, I'd like to thank Missy and the workforce program. We all know in this county we got a trash problem, and we know we got people bringing trash in from other counties. We know that. But I'm going to tell you something. These people work tirelessly to go back and have to pick this garbage up off the side of the road and then put it back in these cans, and it's a shame. I've got 2 dump sites right now in my district, and Lonzo knows about one of them, that something's going to have to be done. Either we're going to have to really take a hard look through the budget, this next budget year, about opening our trash sites longer, making them more, feasible for the citizens of the county, and work something out with these other regional partners in these other counties. I'd rather take their trash and have them throw it over the hill. I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is. I wish I was bright enough to know, but I think there's got to be a mechanism in play that we could work together on a regional basis. If another county brings their garbage over here, let's partner with them and say, hey, I'd rather have it in the can than over the hill. And I've got 2 horrible, Lonzo, you've seen the pictures on one of them, horrible sites. And I'm not just, I could almost speak for the full board here that we're facing the same issues. Going up the road to Belfast, on the side of the road, going down to Dane or St. Paul or in Peanuts District, in Orris as the large member in Tim's district. I wish people would have enough respect, as we've talked about having respect. Have respect and love for our county. And please, please, if you see somebody throw out something out that window, call somebody. Call the law. I get so sick at my stomach at seeing all this. But I just wanted to vent over that because I went up there twice to tour this site, and it's horrible. And something's got to be done.
I'll just say that in regards to the internet service, we have 3 applications that have been submitted now, don't we, Lonzo?
Yeah, we had 3 applications that have been submitted. We had one in addition to all these other grants that we're submitting on their own. The county has 2 that was approved in Tim's district. There's 3 others that's setting up within the broadband team in Richmond.
Waiting for the money to come in. One of those is Clarks Valley, the other is Drill.
And Corn Valley.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if there are other areas that you want us to look at, get in touch with us and let us know. We'll know more after this meeting that Lou and I have on the 18th where those holes are. You may be covered in one of these VEDA or one of these CAF 2 areas or in some of the other areas that we're planning to get into, but I want to try to get it to the, that last mile out there because there's some areas that I'm sure that Point Broadband is going to consider it's not economically feasible for them to take it there. And while this grant money is available, I want to identify those areas and try to go after it and put more applications in, to some private providers. If Point didn't want to do it, we'll find somebody. I Go Clear and in other areas that will go after those areas. We just need an agreement with Point that they will guarantee to provide services off their line from that point on.
Steve, since you're on this, can I ask one question, please, for Lou and Steve? I appreciate what you guys are doing on that. Is there going to be any more cell site money come available? I mean, I am desperate in Drill and Swords Creek, there in between the Buchanan County area region. I need a cell site back.
Well, that's all handled through the Cumberland Plateau Company and the VCC, Virginia Coalfield Coalition. And we've got a meeting sometime coming up here before too long.
Please, Lou, would y'all put a request in for me?
They're trying, yeah.
I'll come out there and help you, babe.
I agree. It's about time that we got some stuff for for Russell County because they've been concentrating down in Buchanan County and trying to satisfy Roger. They put a cell tower down there and they actually set too low, and he's right underneath it and he still can't get any phone service.
Well, I've got property owners and I've got some people sitting in the audience that knows people that we can get a site location easily. It's really a danger because you get out through there and it's so spotty, and there's gaps out there like you just said earlier with no broadband, but you don't have any cell phone service either. It's so, and I've worked with all these other providers and stuff trying to get them to build to that area, and they say, well, it's just not economic.
Let me ask you, if we have internet service into those areas, you can write off that, can't you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we need a long-range plan to combine all that together and
If
try
you
to
need me,
fill in all these gaps.
y'all let me know. I'll help
May
in
do.
any way.
Thank you. That's it.
It's okay. Carl?
No, Madam Chair.
Lou?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Tonight, we heard from the audience about PSA and the situation that we have with PSA. And I have also had a call about a water disconnect and the cost that it entails to put it back up. And I do think it's appalling to have this particular situation. And I don't know what the answer is, but I want you to know that we heard you and that we have discussed this, and this is an ongoing situation that we're looking at. And I don't have an answer today, but I may by the next time we meet again. So I appreciate your coming and your letting us know how you feel in the situation that you find yourself in.
Thank you very much.
Next, let's see what I got. Also, I want to say thank you again for the sewer line that's going to take Dane, Virginia, all the way to St. Paul and clean up Lick Creek. I could not be more pleased. The partners involved in this are happy. And also, I have a little bit of information that about some ATV trails. I think we are closer to seeing an expansion into Dane, Virginia. And we're also working on our campground there. And we just received in January $102,000 from a nonprofit in Charlottesville, Virginia, that heard our plight and decided they would help us. So we've added some more money to our campground project in Dane, Virginia, and we're hoping that that's going to roll out some great tourism projects. So thank everybody for your support. That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Chris?
Mr. Christian, I would just, and I don't mean to interrupt, but we don't want to talk too much about personnel because obviously Mr. Powers has a right to his privacy. I mean, I just don't want us to do anything that would somehow violate that.
Sir-
Mr. King, Mr. Keene, and I apologize, we limit our citizens' comment to that one time, and so to be fair to all citizens, and I'm sure you were aware of that,
Right.
that we
Thank
limit it to that time.
Well, it's my turn to speak, and my matters, and I can sympathize with him, and this is what happened to me. My brother and myself, our yards are connected. I got my water bill the Wednesday the week before. The whole next week, around to the next Monday, he gets his water bill. We have the same mail carrier. Our mailboxes are 2 numbers apart. And please tell me how that happens. And I apologize to Mr. King because that is bad. He's been here all these years, and why would his water be cut off? It's really an unjust thing to some of our senior citizens. Don't go to the mailbox every day. Don't go to the post office every day. But what's to say it's not their fault? The mail is behind, and we need to apologize. And I did ask, and I will give you all a phone number that I called, and I asked, and they assured me that my next bill, when it is printed, I will get a text and I will get an email, and my email will have a copy of my statement. So if you want it corrected, here's the number: 991-0200. And that's Ms. Rhonda Lester. She was very cordial, very polite. She told me that the program that we have now that we've bought, or they have bought, because the PSA is their own authority, if you give them that information, they will send out to you a notification when that bill is being printed. We know the mail's going to be slow, but I'm hoping that I will get my notification this month that my bill has been printed and being sent to me. And maybe if we start calling and they start putting that in their program, it will allow us to have better communication with them. Second thing I want to tell is I've had calls from several of my folks about getting internet and broadband and TV and internet, whatever they need, which we all need. Society has changed. We have doctor's appointments, we order our medicine, we shop, our kids are home at school. Everybody needs internet, and fast. I did find out, they asked me, was it going to be just cable or is it going to be fiber? It is going to be fiber. All of these grants, all these applications that have been sent, there's not a one on this board that didn't vote for those 3 applications to be sent and improved for our citizens. I agree with Steve. We need to fill in the gaps. Not everybody's going to get it. They say, I have excellent service. I do not. I do not have internet. It's awful. I have to go to the west end of the house on the carport, lean sideways, and raise my phone up to get any service, or it's cut off. It's terrible. And there's lots of folks that are right with me. So if we know there's a gap or it's not good, please contact us and we will work. Steve's on that committee, Lou's on that committee. We will try to fill in these spots that you all need service. We want you to have it, and we'll work with you to get it. Broadband is going to do, Point Broadband's going to do a lot, but like Steve said, we will work with other funds to try to fill in the rest of those gaps for you all. All right, I will hush. All right, at this time, I will take a motion to set our next meeting, March the 1st, and I will have a motion to adjourn. Does anybody?
So moved, Madam Chair.
David, do we have a second? Orris? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
March the 1st.